Yep, we're back. And it's time to catch up on some Sonic Boom episode reviews that we've been putting off for a while. And honestly, I'm surprised to know how many weeks it's been without a Sonic Boom review, because the last time I did 9 through 11, and that was only 3 weeks. But this one, we're doing episodes 12 through 20, so we're doing 9 episodes. So it's been 9 weeks since the last one, which is crazy to think about. Is it me, or is Sonic Boom wearing on anybody else? I had to watch a lot of these, I had to basically binge watch a lot of these, except for the past ones for the past 2 weeks. But it's just that the animation's awkward, especially when they do something with liquid. It always looks weird. The voice acting's awkward, and there's so many awkward pauses between lines and jokes that it just kills it for me. And out of all the ones that we're about to review, I think there's only maybe 2 good episodes, and there's 1 good episode, and there's 1 okay episode out of all these. But like it or not, let's go from the top. Now let's start with episode 12, Circus of Plungers. The episode starts with Sonic and friends fighting Eggman's squid bot.
It's not a squid, it's an octopus!
Tails then uses his laser-guided unbolterizer, but since he hasn't tested it, it hits the rocks and causes an avalanche. Sonic defeats Eggman, and everyone but Sonic wails on Tails for screwing up. Then W.D. Barker shows up once again to guilt the team into performing at the circus, and he gives them each jobs according to their skills. When Amy gets a clown, she tries to do a feminist response.
Sad clown! I see what's going on here. You're giving me the lame job because I'm a girl. I'm ready for my trapeze act, boss.
Silly feminist, you'll never win. After performing the circus, Barker, WD, traps everyone, and Tails comes in to save the day. WD Barker ends up getting trapped in the end, and Sonic wins. And it was alright, it's okay. There's 1 or 2 okay ones in here. Now we go on to episode 13, Unlucky Knuckles. Honestly, you guys are lucky I'm not the mysterious Mr. Enter, because this episode is one of those unlucky character torture ones. The episode starts out with Sonic and friends playing golf. Sonic keeps getting trick shots, and Knuckles keeps losing. Knuckles then talks to Six, and Six says that once Knuckles gets all of his bad luck over with, the luck balance of the universe will go back to normal. Knuckles then hurts himself on everything. This makes it worse than one of those unlucky ones that Mr. Enter covers, because in those situations, a character is getting unjustly beaten up by the creator. In this one, the character is so stupid that he's actually inviting pain onto himself. We then have Knuckles go to Sonic and challenge him with his luck balance tipped in giant quotation marks. Then we go to Eggman, who gets a lucky shot in laser tag for some reason, and then tries to use his luck against Sonic. Knuckles then decides that he's still unlucky, so he decides to go into a meteor shower and to tip the luck balance again.
We've got to do something. He's going to hurt himself.
Yeah, too late, Amy. Sonic then decides to lose to Knuckles on purpose, so Knuckles thinks his luck has changed. Eggman interrupts their game, and Sonic sends Knuckles to work with Eggman to send his bad luck over there. It works, and Knuckles destroys Eggman's robots, causing Sonic to win. The end is literally a copy of a SpongeBob episode, specifically Stanley S. SquarePants, where Krabs uses Stanley's terrible skills to his advantage, but this time it's just Sonic using Knuckles' unluckiness to his advantage. And make sure you keep strapped in, because that's not the only thing this show rips off from SpongeBob. Now let's go over to episode 14, The Meteor. This episode isn't that good, but the plot isn't big enough to elaborate on. There's a meteor shower with a bright meteor that falls down. Sonic and Eggman both touch it at the same time and switch bodies. You might think, why aren't you elaborating? This sounds like a pretty unique idea for Sonic, having Eggman in Sonic's body and Sonic in Eggman's body. And honestly, I'm not even going to pull the whole, it's just a ripoff of the SpongeBob episode, The Algae's Always Greener, because that would just be too easy. I'm going to go into Sonic history, where this entire episode is a carbon copy of the Sonic X comic, issue 37, titled The Big Switcheroo, or just Switcheroo with the actual story, and that was done in November 2008. Yeah, this show, 2015, is ripping off of something Sonic did back in 2008. The comic's much better anyway. The comedy and the plot is done better, and we all know how this ends. Sonic and Eggman go back to normal, there's really no switch or change. I did, however, like Sonic holding Eggman at mustache point. Now let's go on to episode 15, Aim Low. The episode starts off with Sonic fighting Eggman, and Eggman loses once again, where Sonic and friends think he's losing steam. Eggman then discovers Soar the Eagle, fan character extraordinaire, who's a motivational speaker who tries to improve. And after some small successes, Eggman seems to get his creative strike back.
Eggman's been a lot more creative lately, don't you think?
I try not to.
Eggman then fires the motivational speaker and can't decide on things, and with Eggman's indecisiveness, he falls into a slump. Sonic then bursts in thinking he's up to something, only to find him in the slump. And also, watch Sonic's mouth movement right here.
Lounging in your pajamas?
With no Eggman, Sonic then grows bored and then ruins everyone's time, to where he starts going crazy and then the team wants Eggman back. Does that sound familiar? Because it's the same plot ripped off from Ed, Edd and Eddy's episode Laugh, Ed, Laugh, where Eddie can't scam anyone, so he goes crazy. The friends go to Eggman's lab and fake like Eggman trapped them, and then they start an argument between Sonic and Eggman to make Eggman attack like normal. And then they fade out, and this is where I don't understand the plot. If we're fading out because we all know how the fight between Sonic and Eggman ends, then why do we keep coming back to it? It's just like 0 punctuation's remark about Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
I'm just thinking about the very end of that game when Bowser starts squaring off for a fight with Mario and Luigi, but then it just cuts to credits as it begins, as if to say, yeah, f*** it, we know how this turns out, am I right? So my question would be, if the dull, tired, predictable concept of Mario fighting Bowser was a target of mockery last time around, why in the sequel do we go right back to it with a po-faced lack of self-awareness? The genie won't go back in the bottle, Nintendo.
But I digress, let's move on to the next episode. Episode 16, How to Succeed in Evil Without Even Trying. This episode is basically self-explanatory. It starts off with Tails trying to help Sticks pick berries, so he invents a machine to help, but it goes wrong like always. And this ends up getting the attention of the Lightning Bolt Society, who are an evil organization trying to replicate Eggman that I guarantee we will never hear of again, and they help Tails replant the orchard. Eggman gets a notice that Tails got accepted into this society, so he plans to stop then with the Batman transition. When a team gets back from the pie contest Sticks was in, evil plants grow where the society planted seeds. Sonic and Amy then go to get Tails back. At the Lightning Bolt Society, there are 3 Sonic OCs at the head, including the Walrus guy from an earlier episode, and the intern, which might suggest that the creators know what they're doing, but they probably were just reusing models. Sonic and Amy make a plan to jump in to save Tails, and Tails explains to the society that he's not evil, which the intern should know since he met him before, which is exactly why I think that they were just reusing models. Sonic, Amy, and Eggman all bust into this society, and then the most embarrassing display of attacking I've ever seen goes about.
Really? That's all you can come up with? I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm thinking. You dolts.
Eggman then gets bombarded by autographs, so he's out, and then we go back to Sticks and Knuckles, who haven't made one bit of progress with the Weeds, and Sonic and Amy take him out within seconds. And after that, Sticks gets invited to the society, so ha ha ha. Now let's go to episode 17, Don't Judge Me. This episode is a point-for-point ripoff of the SpongeBob episode Krabs vs. Plankton, complete with a fake injury, a lawsuit, a dumb lawyer, and dumb witnesses, and the exact same ending. Besides the unoriginality, it's actually the best episode in the bunch, and I'm just gonna leave this one little clip here.
I'll be fine. People know the truth about me.
And the #1 reason you might get attacked by Sonic the Hedgehog? You've been telling jokes about him all week on your late night show. Uh-oh. We'll be right back, unless Sonic puts me in the hospital. Ha-ha!
You, sir, are fearless in your comedy. Hey-o!
Now let's go on to episode 18, Dr. Eggman's Tomato Sauce. Eggman makes tomato sauce, which Sonic thinks is a trap, but it's not a trap and Eggman gets rich. Tails tests the tomato sauce and finds nothing wrong, and then everybody's electronics stop working. Eggman goes on a talk show at his fortress, where he insults Sonic. He also explains that the sauce isn't contaminated, and that it's the cans that are made of robots. And Sonic and friends beat the robots, only to know that they come together again with Eggman's remote. And then Tails uses the still not right enter beam to get the remote. Tails is still holding a lightning bolt when he uses the enter beam. And the enter beam attachment is on his wrist, not his stomach. And I don't understand this, because if you're going to remodel them for a TV show, get them right in the TV show. And just listen to this line, I swear.
Hey, give that back!
Eggman then declares he has more cans on his TV show, and then he has to take them. Now let's go on to episode 19, Soul Power. Honestly, it's the worst one of the bunch. It starts off with another Tails invention which goes haywire when Sonic starts emitting a sound from his shoe. And instead of Tails attacking the problem directly, the show insists on Sonic annoying everyone with this predicament because it is only Sonic who gets these things, and it has to annoy absolutely everyone when it happens. And Tails says not to run, so Sonic is on the sidelines coaching the team into failure before they tie him up. By the way, the voice acting is getting cringy now, with no background music to boot. I'm literally going to give you the 2 worst lines of this episode that are just cringeworthy.
Sonic, you were supposed to bring the volleyball.
Hey, I thought you were talking about them!
They're so slow and lifeless. Sonic eventually goes to Eggman for help, and gets power-absorbent shoes that solve the sound. Sonic then shows it off, and Eggman reuses the robot model, yet again, to fight Sonic, but the twist is that he's using Sonic's energy against him. Sonic then gets discouraged at first, and then he goes super fast to overload the robot, and wins in the end. And the problem with this episode, well, the main problem, besides all the little stuff in the voice acting and blah 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 blah, the main problem with this episode is that the whole thing was started by Eggman artificially, by Eggman saying that he made the sound emit whenever Sonic ran, which kind of doesn't make any sense because there would be some timing purposes, some timing things off. It just is weird. Anyway, moving on to the last episode of this review. Episode 20, Hedgehog Day. And as the name implies, the episode's a parody of Groundhog Day, where Eggman's going through the same day over and over again. And then this episode really isn't that original, there's really not that much to say on it. It's not too bad, it has some good comedic timing.
Okay, so how do I get you to believe me about the time loop right away tomorrow?
There's no such thing as a time.
Last night you dreamed you were being chased by a giant sock puppet.
Now the reason Knuckles doesn't help is stupid, but then again it is Sonic Boom.
Okay, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. He's gonna pull my tooth.
While the ending to the episode was weirdly ambiguous, it was nice enough not to warrant a rant. And that's basically all the episodes. I'm sorry this took so long because basically what kept happening was that every time I would be editing this or every time I'd be making this, another episode would come out and then I'd have to do that, edit in all into it. And honestly, I actually had to record all this today. So this was like all done in one day with some frame drops from frickin' like Final Cut for whatever reason. But yeah. And I'll see you guys next time.
Hello, I'm Drew.
And I'm Khari, and welcome to Khari
And Drew.
News. This just in, a civil war between the Scottish King Duncan and the King of Norway broke out with the Thane of Cawdor